Well, this past Friday, President Obama met with bank CEOs who agreed with the president that sacrifices need to be made in order to solve this economic crisis. The next step, President Obama plans to convince Congress to empower regulatory units. Joining us this morning to make sense of all of this is Eric Rice from Dyer Beach. Thank you so much for being here this morning. What exactly happened on Friday? Can you kind of break down why Obama did this and maybe what came from it on Friday?
It's a preemptive strike. Essentially what they're doing is they're going to the bank executives before bad press comes out and really brings our economic paralysis to a different front. So what they're going to do is they're going to the bank and saying, listen, before you issue any more bonuses, let's figure out a way to make this work for the country. Actually a really good meeting.
Because we've all had our eyes on AIG kind of scrutinizing them, but the truth is this could be happening in other banks, right?
In every bank.
In every bank, okay.
I mean, that's why those big executives and CEOs work there, is because of the bonuses, not so much their salary, but the bonuses. So they're seeing the sacrifice for their company and the greater good of the country. And I think it's a great thing. I think it'll be a really, really good thing for the country.
So essentially, what is the plan? How do we regulate these banks, or how does Obama plan to regulate these banks?
Well, I think the regulation is not only stopping with the banks. It's already bleeding into other industries. But with the banks, I think the thing that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to take a look at salaries and see how top-heavy salaries are to kind of bleed the money back either through the bank, through the people, or through the other employees in the bank.
Do you think this will kind of initiate some type of consumer confidence as well, when we know as consumers that there's, these banks are being regulated now? What do you think that's going to do for us?
Well, our consumer confidence couldn't be any lower.
Right.
So it really will. I mean, no one trusts anyone any longer. If it has anything to do with housing, finance, anything at all. No one trusts anyone. So it can't do anything but spur a little confidence into the general public, and that's a good thing.
Wall Street. What does this do for Wall Street?
Goodness, Wall Street's going to be most affected. They want to regulate the hedge funds. They want to regulate all of the private equity firms, which quite honestly should have been done some time ago. People don't realize that the hedge funds have a major play in the housing and real estate market as well. They were the ones who were buying up a lot of the subprime notes. So there needed to have been something done back 4 or 5 years ago, but if they can get it done today, phenomenal. But I think that regulation bleeds into other industries, like the industry we're in. We've stepped away from our core model of business, and we're going into helping victims. We noticed that a lot of people like to arrest criminals and make sure that they're exposing the story, but who's helping the victims? And I think that's what someone else needs to do. A regulatory body should step in and help the people who've been, duped by a hedge fund or real estate company or whatever it may be.
Now, President Obama wants to convince Congress to approve this type of authority, but of course we know how long these things can take. What's your ballpark game plan as far as how long this could take?
3 months to a year.
Okay.
The year probably being a more realistic number, just due to the fact it's got to clear 3 or 4 different boards before it becomes, a statute. And with economics, obviously we know things change relatively quickly, but regulation doesn't.
As far as what we can take from all this and helping the housing market, how do you think that this will, help us San Diegans in here who are struggling with a very bad housing market right now?
Well, it's survival of the fittest. So you'll be able to find, there's already in the Housing Authority here with regulation, it's already happening, and it's a great thing. They're eliminating the bad and making the good either change into a different type of creature for the general public, or to make them just become better at their job. So when you have good banks that are still around that are profitable and regulated, you're going to have a really efficient bank, a really efficient company in general if they're regulated properly. Now, over-regulation is also another story that will handicap the banks and generally handicap the public because they won't have as many products available to use.
All right, Eric Rice, next weekend we're talking about foreclosure fraud, right?
Absolutely. It's a big topic. We're making sure that we're taking a stance. If anyone in San Diego has been a victim of that, please call us. We're helping you out for free.
All right. Thanks so much for being here with us this morning. And, of course, for more information, just go to our website, san diego6.com, and click on Hot Topics.